We thought that this would be good for our business, but we're finding out now that we were wrong. And I want to publicly say that we are regretting our votes at this point. My husband and me own a construction company, and we literally do not have workers anymore. Most of our workers are from Mexico, and they're good, hard workers. I talked to a few of them, and they said they were just too scared to come back to work because of all the raids. Our construction company is likely to go out of business now, and we don't know what we're going to do, but we're never voting for a Republican again. Ron DeSantis and Trump have been passing laws that negatively affect our business, and I just want to say that I'm sorry for voting for him. I grew up Republican, and it's all I've ever known, but now I can see that me and my whole family have been very wrong about this. So we hope that 2026 comes and we can take back the House and the Senate and stop him from what he's doing. There's a special election coming up in Matt Gaetz's district, and we're going to do everything we can to advocate.
I'm going to say something uncomfortable, and I don't care if it offends you because it's the truth. There is a massive chunk of this country that is functionally stupid. Not just uneducated, not misinformed. I'm talking about people who lack the ability to process facts, apply logic, or think critically. I've stopped trying to win MAGA over, so if you're MAGA and you want to pick a fight with me, don't waste your time, because I won't waste mine. These aren't people you can debate. They don't respond to reason. They don't change because you gave them the data. They respond to emotion, to fear, to blame. And while liberals are writing think pieces and hosting panel talks, Trump and people like him are giving stupid people simple villains and easy answers. It's the immigrants, it's the gays, it's the black people. And that's all it takes. These people vote. They show up and they are dragging this country backward. Call it elitist if you want, but stupidity is a national security threat. Because when people can't process reality, they become tools for whoever feeds them the right lie. This isn't about winning hearts and minds anymore. It's about protecting truth, protecting democracy. And if we keep pretending they're just misinformed, we'll keep losing the people who aren't just wrong. They're incapable of knowing they're wrong. And they're steering this country straight into collapse. I can't stand stupid people.
I don't think Donald Trump wants another election. You think for a second I have 24 Trump 2028 hats. His folks keep sending me.
And you think he's going to run again?
No, don't give me. Who spends $200 million on a ballroom at their home and then leaves the house? This is serious, guys. This is serious.
Every single person laughing in that room is completely out of fucking touch with what conservative circles are saying. Most people have no fucking clue the chatter in conservative circles. So let me fucking show you. This video I'm going to show you, this is trending right now on MAGA Talk. Take a look.
There is one God. This God creates nations. He gives all nations the same rights. The idea that there are two kinds of people, those with rights and those without.
If you don't recognize this, this is a translated speech from one of the worst authoritarians in world history. His speeches are fucking trending on MAGA Talk. That video got 500,000 views, and there are dozens like it. This is no longer a fringe idea. This is mainstream now. The purity tests have to stop. This isn't a fucking game. This isn't for clicks. This isn't for likes. This isn't a joke. The situation that we're in is incredibly fucking serious.
Okay, you guys, I have so much good news to share with you. I'm going to pack it all into this video. Let's just say democracy the last few days has been working for Americans. And let's just say that MAGA is losing. They're losing, and they are freaking pissed off. Okay, number one, in Utah, unrelated to the redistricting fights going on in Texas and California, a judge ordered the Republican-led legislature to redraw the maps, to redraw them. And this is likely to benefit Democrats. We may gain as many as 3 seats. What this stems from is that in 2018, the voters voted for an independent commission to be the ones to draw up these maps. And in addition, they couldn't take politics into account, which is how it should be. They should be drawn up fairly. But the Republican-led majority ignored this commission's maps time and time again. So it was taken to the courts, and Judge Gibson, who's a Republican appointee, said, you better get your shit together. You've got 30 days to redraw them, or I will redraw them. So now Republicans are demanding that she be removed from the bench. They're calling her an activist judge, even though they were the ones, of course, cheating and going against the will of the voters, the scummy slime bag Republican Party. But they are so pissed off. That's good news, number one. And then you know our sandwich guy, what's his name? Sean Dunn, who threw a sandwich at a federal agent. A grand jury, which is, you know, local citizens, gave the big F you to the Trump administration, their prosecutor, in terms of indicting him with a felony. Do you know that less than 1% of grand juries reject a prosecutor's request to indict? And this grand jury said, this is a minor infraction. You're not going to sit around and
All right, so I'm out walking the dog in full glam, obviously, but I just want to say I think I figured it out. No, it's not earth-shattering or anything. I just think that he's unable to complete the duties of the presidency, possibly because, like some of you are saying on this app, that he's had multiple strokes or that his speech is affected or whatever that is. I don't know. Clearly, he's having health issues. But this regime knows that they cannot remove him from office. If they remove him from office, a number of things happen. Number one, the cult base, the MAGA base, they are going to lose their minds and flip their lids, and you would see J6, but like kind of within their own house. Like it would just implode upon itself because they wouldn't be supportive of the regime anymore. They would be supportive of Trump as an icon, as an idol, as a false god. And then almost in the same category, but a little bit separate, is the fact that they have to keep him installed as president until his actual departure from Earth, because otherwise they will have no hope of pulling along his cult base, his MAGA followers. All to say, this regime is walking on eggshells and playing with fire because at any moment they know that this whole thing could blow up in their face, which would be amazing, by the way.
Trump-la-fuck should be getting nervous right now. Not because Donald Trump may be sick or no more. That, of course, is of concern to Trump-la-fucks. But what they need to be concerned about now more than anything is the quiet. Donald Trump continually does crazy shit, fucked up shit, stupid shit, and the only way he keeps going is if the noise levels he creates keeps glossing over the top, keep distracting us from this fuck up to that fuck up to this fuck up. But it's quiet now. So all these fuck ups are lining up like RFK Jr., like the tariffs, and nobody's talking. Donald Trump isn't distracting right now. Donald Trump's otherwise occupied. And that's where MAGA needs to fucking worry, because that's where MAGA comes crashing down. Donald Trump is a force that could keep people distracted and grab people's attention. When that's not here, whether he's gone for good or just out of commission for a time, that's when things start coming to the surface. That's when things people notice are fucked up. And that's because there is nobody in MAGA that can do what Donald Trump does. So you MAGA fuckers may be worried about Donald Trump, but you should be more worried about the quiet and giving people time to actually realize what the fuck you're doing and how it's working out.
This whole situation with Chicago is a powder keg, and it's on purpose. It is quite possible that the U.S. military will be rolling into the streets of Chicago, even though Governor Pritzker and the mayor have said they don't want them there and they don't need them there. And they have said that the Chicago PD will not support the U.S. military actions inside the city. So what happens when the U.S. military starts violating people's civil rights? Because we know there will be protests. And if people are in trouble, the Chicago PD is supposed to help them out. That's who they're there to protect. So now you're talking about having a local police force working against the US military. That sounds like a civil war to me. And that's exactly what this administration wants. They want to cause violence and chaos so that they can say, see, we need to take over. So watch this situation carefully. And if you're in Chicago, I do encourage you to protest peacefully.
I've never heard about going to church. I've never heard about tithing. I've never heard, do you own a Bible? Nothing, ever, okay? And I talk to this person on Sunday mornings often, so I'm befoogled here to the point where I'm making up words. So when I kind of pushed a little bit and I was like, I notice you're mentioning God a lot. Do you go to church? This person was like, oh, well, I've always gone to church. And the conversation continued along those lines. And when I finished, I looked at my husband, and after I recovered, I said, wow. MAGA literally creates fantasies in their mind. And that's their narrative, no matter what. And if the pressure heats up enough, they will go in with a pencil, erase some of the fantasy, edit it, and then put the new version forward as fact. I can promise you this person does not go to church. I can promise you this person doesn't own a Bible. I can promise. But in the fantasy of the MAGA mind, she's a believer, and life in the U.S. could not be better. I'm telling you.
Happy Labor Day. It's about 10:30 in the morning. I saw your comment. I was texting with Mr. Global this morning because a couple people texted me the video that he made about this. Like, hey, can you explain all of this stuff to Hawk? And he's like, no, he's a fucking lawyer. He knows more about this shit than I do. And I made a video. I texted that to him. He's like, yeah, I saw that. And I was just like, the joys of social media, man. And I don't remember what he wrote back. But whatever it was, I responded to him by saying, yeah, why can't I just be normal like everybody else? I'm not. That's the point. I mean, all of us are different. All of us have different life experiences. All of us bring something different to the table. And it's like, one of the things that I think MAGA and big chunks of the left have in common is just this absolute rigid, unbending demand for complete and total conformity. And it's like, you have to agree with me on every single goddamn thing on my list. And if you disagree, if I have a list of 100 things and you agree with 99 of them, but you disagree with one of them, you're canceled. That's it. You're out. And it's just like, okay, cool. But after I texted that to Mr. Global, I was just like, I started thinking about that. I texted him as a joke. It's like, why can't I just be normal like everybody else? Because I'm me. And, and not to sound like a douche, but I'm me. And that's why I've got over 1 million followers on TikTok. over 500,000 followers on YouTube because I'm me. I'm not normal like everybody else. There's no such thing as normal like everybody else. There just isn't. I mean, there are a lot of people who are just fucking butthurt that I have as many followers as I do. And almost on an ongoing basis do everything in their power to take that away. But, you know, whatever, who gives a shit? I mean, put it this way. I've said this before. I've never been criticized or attacked on this app by anybody who I envied or by anybody with whom I wanted to trade places. Yeah.
Well, well, well. It's Monday, September 1st, and I have a cup of tea I need to pour for you. But before I do, I need to warn you that it's going to upset you. My intention is not to upset you when I tell you this. It is to inform you. And what I find so very strange about this particular cup of tea is that it is the month of September. Baby. That month we were told to never forget. The month we were always supposed to remember. That day in September. That day that Americans lost their lives. That day first responders lost their lives. That day that forever, for you and me, here in this country, changed the landscape of law and order. The day that we collectively came together and decided that our government could surveil us in any kind of way they wanted to if it was to protect us and keep us safe from anybody, whether they be foreign or domestic, dear. No more terrorism here. Everything changed on that day, and they told us to always remember. They told us that terrorism would not be accepted here, that we would throw you underneath Guantanamo Bay for the entirety of your life and a day. Remember, remember September. So I find it very strange that I'm about to pour you this cup of tea in September, dear. It appears that it wasn't just good enough to give Ashley Babbitt's family $5 million when she lost her life that day, when she decided to attack the Capitol. And a Capitol police officer lawfully unalived her that day. $5 million, baby. That wasn't enough, you see. It wasn't enough that Daddy Dumpy Pants set them free amongst you and me, even though they were prior criminals, baby. No. It wasn't good enough that he gave them jobs in all departments of law and order, dear. They're working for our government, here, there, and everywhere. That wasn't good enough. As of today, they want the federal government to pay reparations their way. That's right, dear. That's right. Thanks to Mark McCloskey. You remember him. He was that guy that stood on his front lawn with an AR-15 because he didn't like social justice protesters on the scene. Thanks to him and a very close personal friend of Daddy Dumpy Pants, Peter Ticktin. What a fitting name for him. They've gotten together, and they've decided to ask the DOJ via the way of Pam Blondie Bondi Satan Cindy Lou Who about setting up a special panel headed up by Request, the Winebox Troll, the No-Neck Hoe, Daddy loves her best, Janine Pirro, to go through all the J6's cases because they feel like they've been harmed in some kind of way and they need to get paid. Individually going through and seeing how much money me and you should give them, these terrorists. How strange in the month of September, the month we were all supposed to remember. I also find it very strange that these are the same kind of people that say that they do not believe in reparations for slavery. But we live in the upside down because of the orange clown. You got Petey Keggs, Brett the Cockerhead Cracker Klansmen, want to memorialize the first group of terrorists in this nation, dear, that tried to destroy our democracy, the Confederacy crew. He wants us to remember them and memorialize them with paintings and statues. They were terrorists too. Funny ways they like to remember terrorists these days. Reparations paid? Where are the millions upon millions of dollars in reparations that should have been paid to the 9 other people who lost their life that day, like the law enforcement officers, baby? Where are their millions upon millions of dollars in reparations today for trying to defend our democracy from those who were there that day calling for the death of the vice president, his hanging, his lynching? On that day of love, baby. They want reparations because they feel they've been harmed, baby. I guess in this country, if you're black or you're brown, no reparations for you. But if you're white, here we are. But they tell you it's not about race, baby. Then why not give reparations for those that descended from slavery? But terrorists, that's it. What I also find strange about this being the month of September, the things that we're always supposed to remember, let's just talk about FEMA today. Because it was back in the day, the same time that terrorism was at play, that Katrina rolled in. And it was the same GOP crew back in that day too, those same GOP fools. Just different names and different faces, but the same thought processes, the same kind of crew. We remember what FEMA did and did not do. We were always supposed to remember Katrina too. Never again to let our FEMA crew do that to you. But here we are today, and people at FEMA are being fired and being turned away and walked away, and the budget is scarce, baby. There's just absolutely no money, and when money is doled out and about, like quietly they gave, excuse me, Rhonda to Satan, Mr. Kitten Heels, $1 billion the other day quietly, supposedly to help for all of the prior damage that had been done from a few hurricanes, hun, that had not paid out. But I'm willing to bet today that that money, that $1 billion, hun, is not going to make it to the places it's supposed to, because after all, it was the GOP and the Red Hat crew there in that state. It was Rhonda Kitten Heels to Satan that decided to take $450 million of their FEMA fund, hun, to put up Alligator Alcatraz, Donald's Dachau, and now it's got to go, and that money was wasted. But don't worry, baby, because he just got $1 billion more quietly, they say. Meanwhile, the people in Kerr County, Texas, can't seem to get a siren put up in place. And FEMA wasn't there that day. No, the head of FEMA that day was on Instagram posting photos for her painting to be put in federal buildings, hon. Oh, not to mention horseback riding down the way of Venezuela and Guatemala too, when that deal was made about those 600 kids and where they would go when they boarded that plane. These people play in your face every other fucking day, and now they want money from our federal government to pay reparations to fucking terrorists. I told you this cup of tea would not make you happy, but either way, it's so fucking true today. It's so fucking true today. Happy Labor Day in the US of A. We bend over, we give them our labor. And all they do is continue to take from you. We're not even going to discuss what they do to our children here. Just remember what they always say. Just get over it, dear. I'm not getting over it today or any other day.